Yeah, perfect. Well, hey, it's great to meet you. Thank you for taking a minute out. And I'd love to begin our conversation before we get into your work and life by asking you 4 years ago, the pandemic started. We were wrapping our heads around what it meant, and it obviously affected us all in different ways. How did you get through the pandemic and how did it change you?
Well, I mean, through the pandemic, it's was one of the big changes. We moved in the pandemic to Mexico, and I quit my job, and yeah, we moved here mainly because also of the pandemic, or the let's say the consequences of the pandemic, that I was not happy with my job anymore. That I wasn't really happy with it before also, but during the pandemic, I was sitting all day in the Zoom meetings, and it was really not fulfilled. And also the kids didn't enjoy it anymore because they couldn't go to school anymore. And then we said, let's go to an adventure. And we moved to Mexico, and we were traveling here 9 months, and we're staying here.
So, where are you from originally, and what was your job before?
So I'm from Germany. I lived most of my life in Germany, but the last 3 years before we came here, like from 2019 to 22, we lived in Israel. My wife, she's from Israel. And I was working basically all my life in the semiconductor industry. I was
Okay.
working as a product manager and product director, also traveling a lot to the United States and to Asia. Yeah, but I quit my job. We sold our house and we started a new life here.
So, why did you pick Mexico?
It was one of the options. I mean, we looked in a few different places, and then we decided for Mexico. First of all, I don't know, it's a big country. There are many opportunities, right? I mean, you basically have everything, all different kinds of landscapes, climates. So, and we said, okay, I mean, some people go to whatever, Costa Rica or something like that, but
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds nice and the pictures look nice, but if you don't want just to hang on around at the beach all day long, so
Yeah.
it's a little bit too hot to live there. And yeah, that's what we also found out now. I mean, we were also a few months at the beaches, but it's yeah, we prefer the mountains to live. And
Okay. So let's get into the essence of what you do right now for a living. I'm going to put you in front of a bunch of third grade students. It's career day. And one of the kids says, "Hey, what do you do for a living?" How do you answer that child?
I'm helping people doing similar changes that I did, that I explained to you right now. For example, people that are myself, that are successful in their job, like successful in well, usually it's what the society calls successful, right? Deep inside, usually you feel that there's something missing, and I'm helping people to find their way and the life they deserve.
So take me back to your childhood. What did you want to be in the third grade? What was your dream?
Oh, that changed. I always actually wanted to be an engineer, and I wanted to be a pilot.
Okay. Do you fly?
No, what do you mean, like
Did you
as a
get your
pilot
pilot's
or?
license or anything
No,
like
no,
that?
no,
Okay. All
no,
right.
no, no.
I was just curious. So talk to me a little bit about how these seeds of wanting to become an engineer and ultimately getting into technology and now being a coach, how did all of these things kind of get planted in you early on to grow into who you are today?
I think we're all on a journey, right? And our desires change also. And I was always interested in people. I'm still a lot interested in technology, but this job in tech didn't. Yeah, in the end, it didn't really give me enough anymore, right? So I basically changed to something more, yeah, helping more people. And it's also in my career, I developed in this direction, right? I didn't work directly in engineering anymore. I was more in product management and working with customers, working in like building relationships with other partners and customers. And yeah, that's how I became a coach.
So, who's been an inspiration or a hero for you in your life?
Who has been an inspiration? Hmm, that's a good question. I don't, I think it's not so important to look up to people. I think it's important to find your own way. So, Well, I mean, I had some idols in sports, in athletics when I was younger, because I'm also an athlete. I did triathlon, I did Ironman. But it's never really something that I wanted to be like somebody else. I think it's very important that you find you're your own idol.
So how
And
did
that
you get into Ironman competitions? How did that become a passion for you?
I think I always liked adventures, and I also always like doing a little bit crazy things. And it was always a dream. I mean, I like endurance. I always liked running and skiing in the winter and cycling. So, and it became more and more. And I think it's a good example for having this like evolving or developing goals, right? Because sometimes if we're at a stage in our life and we cannot imagine the big goal that's far away, like our dream, let's say. So we move step by step, and we get further. And as we move closer to a certain goal, it becomes more tangible. And then one day I said I want to do an Ironman. At this time, I was just cycling and running. So I had to learn swimming. I mean, I could swim, but not really like freestyle open water swimming.
Yeah.
And it's something different. And then I learned within 1 year swimming. It was, I think, in 2007. Or in 2006 and 2007, I did my first Ironman competition. So I had 1 year to learn swimming, and yeah, it was good. And then when I finished the Ironman, I decided, okay, my next goal is I wanted to be in the. I mean, if you're an endurance athlete, the goal is to be in Hawaii for the World Championship of Ironman. And then this was my goal. I mean, it took me 10 years to achieve that, but one day I did it.
Now you're a six-time champion?
I'm not the champion, but I finished 6 times,
Okay.
and one time I competed in the World Championship. Yes,
Okay. What was it like the first time you completed the actual competition? How did that feel?
it feels great because it's like, I mean, if you can imagine if you practice for something so long, it's very intense training, and I would say if you're serious about this Ironman competition, so it's the Ironman itself is more like the bonus, right? So because you have to train for 1 year or at least 6 months, you're very dedicated every week. You have to train hours and hours, and this is much harder than the competition itself because you have to maintain a high level of dedication, right? And yeah, being really there. And then when you finish the Ironman, that's really like the bonus for that, and it feels great if you cross the finish line. It's amazing.
So in this new capacity of helping people and, kind of being a coach and getting people to a better place, what's been one of your favorite success stories so far?
Yeah, just lately I helped one woman. She was in her 50s. She was also like, uh, she had a successful career. She was the director of a school, and but she didn't really feel good with it. She didn't really feel happy, right? And we worked on that. And what we're doing is we're really going deep into your own, let's say, limiting beliefs or in your thoughts, and that's why it's called transformational coaching. And yeah, we worked on that, and in the end we found somebody that fitted much better to her. So she started building her own business, and she's much more happy now than she was before, and has much more time for herself. So she found much more balance in her life, right?
So what would you say to somebody out there that's considering hiring you or hiring a coach to get to a better place? Where do you feel like they need to be in their lives to make that decision to reach out and to get a hold of you?
Well, I think you can be anywhere. The first point that you need to understand is that you recognize that there is nobody that can give you the solution, right? Because everyone has the solution in themselves, right? So what a coach can help you is just to find that. It's I don't believe in this like one size fits all solution, or this predefined path that you find everywhere, and that are very, yeah, I mean, they're also very sound nice, right? Because it sounds good. Okay, I do something for 3 months and I have a perfect life just by following somebody else's path. That is something that doesn't work. So you need to understand that that you are not happy where you are right now, and you need to understand that you have to work on yourself and that you have to put in the work and that you have to deeply understand yourself, and then we can work on that. But first you need to have this recognition that that's something you want to really work on and put in the effort.
So of all of the things that you've done in your life, all of the parts of your journey, what are you the proudest of?
The proudest, I think that we made this decision now to Mexico, right? To take my family. And this was something that also took quite a while to come to this point that we really said, we will do that, right? Because if you're used to a paycheck and you're working in a corporate career and you used to have the money coming in every month, I also had my limiting beliefs, right? I also said, I cannot quit my job. I depend on the money, and we need to do this, and we have to continue. I have to continue to work to feed my family and all of this beliefs. And yeah, I think to make this step to become really like a nomad, or going out and after 15 years in a company to go out and say, okay, I do something on my own, and I will figure it out on the way. I think that's a strong decision, especially when you also have a family. I have 2 kids and my wife, that you also have to support, right? It's maybe it's a little bit easier. It's also difficult, but it's easier when you're on your own, and you can handle it easier. But we also had to think about our kids, right? They're growing. Their demands are changing. So
Yeah.
but yeah, I'm very happy with this decision, and I actually never regretted it. And yeah, so I think that was one of the best decisions we did together as
So
a family.
yeah, for sure. So you have to give a lot of good advice to clients. What's the best advice you've ever gotten?
The best advice I've ever gotten is, I think it's something I developed also, like a mindset I developed over the years. It's that actually having goals is, or let's put it like that, that actually achieving your goals is not so important. I would still say it's important to have goals, especially those long-term goals. But I would see them as more like as a lighthouse, right? They're guiding you the direction where you have to go. I don't think it's any problem if you don't achieve your goals or if you change your goals on the way, because life is full of changes, right? We make changes, we need to make adjustments. So yeah, I think it's important to have goals. It's important to be on our journey and to be in action, but it's more important to celebrate the process over the result.
Yeah.
That's something I learned over the years. I mean, I was always good in goal setting and goal achieving. That's, for example, with the Ironman or also with my professional goals. But yeah, once you get to your goal and you finish it, what happens next? You just set yourself the next goals, right? And you continue chasing your goals. But yeah, they will not make you happier, right? You have to look for the happiness in the present and not in the future. So you need to work on what I'm doing. What can I do today to make my life better, and not to think, okay, if I get this new job, or if I earn whatever 1 million in a year, or if I achieve this and that, then everything will be better, because that's usually not how it works.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. Everyone has an idea of who they think you are, your family, your friends, your clients, but you're actually the one leading your life. What's your perception of you? Who do you think you are?
I think, well, I'm a human. I'm on a journey. And in the last years, I also went more and more into, like, let's say, a spiritual aspect of life. So I added this element, like also doing meditation and stuff like that. And since then, I actually think it's not so important anymore to think it as identities, right? So I just want to think, and it's not always easy, and I'm certainly not perfect in that, but I think more important than who I am is just that I am, actually.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I like it. So if anyone out there wants to hire you, reach out, learn more, any of the good business, where do they go?
So you can find me on LinkedIn. My profile is active there, and I'm also posting there, Ingo Schulmeyer. I also have a website and a podcast under my personal brand. My personal brand is The Small Reset. So my website is thesmallreset.org. And yeah, there you find all the information about my coaching, what I'm doing, how it can help you, how is the process, how is the framework and everything. And yeah, also on YouTube, I have a channel with a podcast where we're talking about these things like personal development, finding yourself, goal setting, peak performance, leadership, and all this kind of topics.
Wonderful. Ingo, thank you so much for your story. Thank you for your time. Best of luck with everything.
Thanks, Joe. It was a pleasure to be here.
Great. Thank you. Great to meet you.